call my mom like, yo, mom, they doing some stuff for Cardi. So I go to the studio, talking about every producer in Atlanta pulled up. Mike Will, Jay White, Sonny Digital, London on the track. God is gonna put certain things in your life that might be unexpected, but as long as you trust him, it's gonna work out in your favor.
I feel like there's a lot of ego in the producer community.
Yeah.
And it just holds a lot of shit back. The reason why a lot of niggas don't respond to our DMs when we want to send loops, because they know that shit not genuine. They talk about this shit in the rooms all the time and just be like, man, these niggas is fake. Cause this was not playing. He walked in the room the other day. We was like, oh shit, we gotta interview you. All right, y'all, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. If you're a new viewer watching, this is ProducerGrind, where we give an outlet to producers, songwriters, engineers, managers, executives, pretty much anybody in the music industry. But if you're a viewer and you've been watching, welcome back to the podcast. Today we got 5-time Grammy Award-winning songwriter and artist, multi-platinum. Mimi's gonna go through the credits, but we got our guy over here, Derrick Milano.
Appreciate that. What up, y'all? Man,
right.
I'm excited about this.
No, I'm too excited.
About
this was long overdue, y'all. We've been waiting to do this interview forever. But this is actually the perfect time to do it. So let me get into these credits. I mean, Derrick has worked with Shakira, Cardi B, Pop Smoke, Megan Thee Stallion, Beyonce, Nicki Minaj. Like, we could be here all day naming them. And don't forget Lil Wayne, too. But like I said, we could be here all day naming them. So let's get into the podcast. So, Derrick, I want you to tell your story from the beginning. Like, what was it like growing up? Tell us where you're from.
Yeah, so I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, raised in Delaware, which is crazy because do you know anybody from Delaware, bro?
Not one person.
Yeah, Star, she's from Delaware, crazy artist, and writer Ben Billions, he's from Delaware as well. But growing up there was different, you feel me? Because it was its own area, but it was close to Philly, it's close to New York, it's close to Baltimore, it's close to Jersey. It became like a melting pot. And in order to get your music out, you had to kind of like step out the box and do certain things. And I would usually kind of focus on like what's going on the internet and just try to figure out what's going on the internet just to see like what's the vibes. Because, you know, being an artist, you have to be on top of, you got to be on top of your game. You got to know what the new sound is sonically. You got to know, you know what I'm saying, how to promote your stuff, how to get your stuff out without being annoying. And that's what I was on. I was literally just learning how to promote myself and brand myself in a small state, in a small city, but make it a global impact. And I put out like 17 mixtapes on that PIF. And it's crazy because it's like you can still kind of find them. Even though they shut that PIF down, it's like archive websites that still got it. And I was doing that. And I was doing that all through since I was like 14. Until I got out of high school, and then I came to Orlando for college. And when I was out there, I started promoting myself in the music as well, but I got into throwing parties and hosting parties, and that was my way of kind of getting my name out without saying, yo, what's up, check my music out. Yo, check me out, I do music, check me out, I'm a rapper. I ended up tapping in with all the like local producers and DJs in the city and hosts in the city, and just adding on to the events and bringing the vibes. And it was different because it was like, I wasn't from there. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of like I had to really get outside and I had to really tap in with people and I had to really get to know people and to understand the culture, understand like what it was. And Orlando and Florida is like way different than up north.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was doing that. Music started moving. I had a record that was moving crazy, and Zoey Dollaz reached out. That's my brother right there. Him and Dizzy Cleanface and DJ E-Money took me on tour with them. Zoey had just did Blow a Check. The remix was moving, so they just took me underneath their wing. It was me, Kiddo Marv. Who else, man? Zoey's one of them. He always knows, like, who's the next artist. Lajon Slim at that time, like, and they were just bringing me on the road everywhere. And I remember Dizzy was like, I want to hear more of your music. So I was playing them some stuff. We met with Epic to like try to get a situation, and I never forget, one of the A&Rs there had us go up to Epic to actually meet with them, and then he came back to the office and was like, yeah, the head person at the label at the time, you know, they feel like you're not ready yet. Like you don't have the numbers. And then that's when I was just like, dang, like, are we talking about numbers or are we talking about talent?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, well, shoot, I'm going to have to put in that work. I ended up moving to LA. I was working with my boy Billionaire Visions. We was doing a lot of stuff with famous decks at the time. Rich the Kid, Sean Kingston, Tory. Like, that was the house. You feel me? Herb was at the house. Bibby was at the house. Sean Kingston house was like if you go to LA and you went to Sean Kingston's house as a creative, 9 times out of 10, like, you're going to end up being one of them ones. You know what I'm saying? Travis was there. Like, it was just one of those vibes where it's like everybody there was like elite creatives. And we all challenged each other to be better. So I was doing that. I was in hopes looking for a situation. And then for some reason, it just didn't connect at the time. And I didn't really give up on it because I understood, like, okay, like, it's a time and place for everything. I'm not going to be the bitter artist that complains about not getting signed. I'm just going to put my head down and figure out what's the best way to kind of just get myself out there. I ended up going to D.C. because that was one of the places that Zoey had took us on tour, and it was like they showed a lot of love. Like, it was one of those places where they didn't care how big or how small you was. Like, if they rocked with you and they liked the music, they got behind you. So I ended up going out there for about a year and a half. Met a few producers out there, and then I met a songwriter by the name of Median Mathers. And she heard a record that I was doing, and she was like, Beyonce would be dope doing something like this. So I'm looking at it like, come on, we sitting in D.C. We in Temple Hills right now, Maryland right now, talking about Beyonce, you feel me? And at first, I didn't really understand because I'm just like, well, Beyonce wouldn't do nothing like this. And I didn't really know how much of a heavy hitter she was because, like I said, I'm coming from the artist side. I don't know about songwriters like that. So only ones that I knew was like The Dream, Sean Garrett, Neo, but I didn't really understand, like, there were hundreds of other ones as well. So she ended up taking me down to Atlanta, the Meanstreet Studios, and Sammy Scott, that's my sister. That's my sister right there. It's like, she changed my life. She had me working at the studio at Meanstreet with Cannon and Drama. Chris Jones, she had me there literally working for like a whole 3 weeks, just working on songs. So I'm going into sessions as like thinking I'm doing these records for myself. And then one day she comes into the room and says, hey, so I don't know if you know, but this is a writer's room. And I'm like, what's that? And she was like, well, you know, like, we have different songwriters come in here and producers, and we pair them up and we work on ideas for artists that are signed to Atlantic. So I'm like, all right, so what you want me to do? Because I'm looking at the list and I'm seeing all these artists that signed to Atlantic, and I know for a fact that they write their own music.
Right.
Because not only have I been around some of them, but then also I'm like, we talking about rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't like R&B. We're talking about rappers. So I didn't really understand what it was, and I was just like, well, only thing I'm gonna do is just imitate the artists. So for like a week straight, I was just imitating artists, like demoing, like making my voice sound like them, kind of not in the sense of like making it a parody, but just kind of like taking it serious so they can hear it, like kind of like AI before there was AI. And they started playing my records in A&R meetings in Atlantic, and they would come back and be like, hey, so-and-so likes this record, so-and-so likes this record, do you have any more? And then I just felt like, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? So I kind of, that's when my ego had kicked in, and I was just like, man, I'm not about to just keep doing this. I ended up like taking off like 2-3 days, went to my Airbnb that I was staying at in Atlanta at the time, and my mom called me, and she asked me like, what's the next step? She said, you was just in Orlando. You just went with Zoey. Shout out to my guy Terrence Nason. Like, he was investing and helping with a lot of stuff to be able to help me move around. Michael White, he was another one that was like helping me move around. And my mom was just like, okay, you're in Orlando, then you going to Miami. Then all of a sudden you in LA for 2 weeks. Then you go to LA, and then you go to Atlanta. Now you want to go to DC. So like, now you back in Atlanta. So what's the plan? Because you have a place in Orlando that you're not staying at, and, you know, we all paying for it, so something's got to make sense. So I was like, well, Mom, I really want to stay in Atlanta. I said, I feel like it's a lot of opportunity here. I said I was staying at my aunt's house, and I was just like, I don't really think that I want to invade her space no more, so I'd rather just move everything to Atlanta. And she was just like, well, you know, I believe in you. And she was like, but I'm just going to tell you this, like, I'm going to give you 4 months to figure it out. And if you don't figure it out in 4 months, you're going to have to get a job. So I was like, well, all right, well, I'm going to be in the studio every day. And she was like, well, why don't you, do you ever consider songwriting? Hung up. Click. I was like, man, here you go with this. Again, you feel me? But then I thought about it because my mom is like my best friend, you know what I'm saying? And I felt bad because I don't do that. So I called her back and I said, Mom, you right. Like, she was like, yeah, just hear me out. If you put in the same energy that you've been doing as an artist this whole time and doing this and running around, imagine if you put that same energy into being a songwriter, what you could accomplish. And I was like, you're right. I said, well, I'm gonna try it. And I'm gonna see what comes out of it and see what happens. So after that, I went to the studio the next day, whole new attitude. And like for like a whole week, I was just like locked in. And then Cardi B's team ended up coming down to Atlanta to finish the Invasion of Privacy. And when they was there, Sammy had came into the room and was like, hey, do you have any ideas for Cardi? Like, you have any hook ideas? And I was just like, yeah, like I got a whole laptop of stuff that I was just doing. Went into the room, shout out to Brooklyn Johnny and Daryl Jones, played them a whole bunch of stuff. Craig Kalman was in the room. At the time, I didn't really know who that was. Lon Ray, she was in the room. And they was basically like, if you could do all these songs and like ideas and concepts without like knowing what the direction is or whatever, like if we actually sit down with you and tell you like what we're looking for, you think you can,
what you could do,
yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. So they was like, all right, well, come back tomorrow. We're gonna have all these producers pull up in Atlanta. So I'm just like, all right, word. So I call my mom like, yo, Mom, they doing some stuff for Cardi. They want me to come back. They're gonna have all these producers. So I go to the studio. I'm talking about every producer in Atlanta pulled up. Mike Will,
oh wow,
Jay White, Sonny Digital, who else? London on the Track. Everybody, pretty much. Everybody was there. And there was one producer that was in all my like writing sessions that always showed up, that was always like there to support, who didn't care if I was doing stuff for myself or for somebody else. He just believed in the music. And it was Slade the Monster. And I told him when I walked out, I said, oh shit, I didn't know you here. I said, man, they got me in here with all these dope producers. I said, but I want to use your beat. Like, yeah, I want you to come in. You feel me? So he was like, damn, for real? So I'm like, yeah, bro, like your stuff is different. You got like this underground sound, like it's fly. Like I feel like it's not on the mainstream level yet, and everybody else is playing stuff that's dope, but it sounds like stuff that we've heard before. I said, I feel like if you come in and we just like sit in together and we know the direction, we can nail it. And yeah, that's when we worked on Press. And I thought it was gonna be on the album, and it wasn't. And I remember going to all these publishing companies to sit down and like meet with all the publishers, and it was like, they kept asking me this one question. So what's in the pipeline? And I didn't know what that meant. So I asked them like, yo, so what's the pipeline? And they would be like, yo, it's all the songs that you worked on that's coming out. And I'm like, shoot, I don't know. Like, I'm just recording songs. Like, I don't know what's coming out or anything. I said, but I do know that I am working on some stuff and ideas for Cardi. So they called around. They was like, yeah, the song's not gonna be on the album. And then all of a sudden, like, the publishers disappeared. And I was just like, damn, like, I was just putting in all this work. My mom already had told me the expectations on what it's supposed to be. And it's like, okay, I gotta figure this out. Like I said, my boy T, like, he's risking, you know what I'm saying? Like, we putting up, I'm telling him like, yo, let's go to LA. He getting Airbnbs for like 2 weeks. Them joints come out to like $3,000, you know what I'm saying? On top of like food and getting a rental and all types of other things. So shout out to my A&R that signed me at the time, Edgar Machucha. He works with Bad Bunny now. It's my guy. I had called him and I was like, yo, I know I don't have like nothing in the pipeline, but you know what I can do. And I feel like if I just get an opportunity to just be signed, like I'll be able to use this opportunity to like just do what I'm supposed to do as a creative, like in general. And he was like, well, let me talk to Mike Karen. Talk to Mike Karen, I'm gonna talk to Jeff Vaughn, and let me see like what I can do. London J who's like my brother, he was also played like a huge role. I asked him, because he had just had a big record that had came out, and I asked him, I said, yo, London, like, what you think? Like, what you think I should do? Like, as my big brother, like, as somebody that I look up to, somebody that's a mentor, like, what should I do? And he was like, bro, I think you should go with your heart and make make the decision. He said, I know how talented you is. You know how talented I am. We know how to move. And I feel like if you do what you feel like is the right thing, it's going to work out in your favor. So I listened to him, and then I asked Orlando Wartenberg the same question. And Orlando Wartenberg was like, yo, Mike Karen's that guy. Like, and if he's going to give you the opportunity and he believes in you and everybody else kind of like just turn their back, like, fuck with Mike. And I was like, all right. So I was like, hit Edgar, I said, yo, what's the update? And he was like, yo, I tried to get you a deal for like 150, but they came back and said, like, we only can do 75. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Fuck it.
It's a start.
But it was like an up and down to it, though, because it was like, you still got to pay taxes.
Oh, yeah.
You still got to live. You still got to move around. You still got to move your stuff around. You still got to take care of personal things. And, you know, like I said, I had somebody who was helping invest in my career as well. So it was like even like giving him a portion. 75 turns into 50, the 50 turns into 35, 35 turns. So it started just like kind of just depleting. And there was a lot of people that was mad that I signed the deal. But the reason why I go so hard is because I know the deal that I signed. And it's not necessarily a bad deal. Mm-hmm. It's more of the fact of term-wise. Like, I'm just in it. Because when somebody believes in you, they're not gonna just believe in you for like a moment.
It's gonna be for a while.
They're gonna believe in you for a while. And I had to think about certain things, and I'm like, well, if this is gonna work, like the relationship that I have to have with Mike Karen has to be like Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre. Like, right. It can't be like just a quick thing. Like, we in this together. Like, we're business partners. And I've been going hard ever since then, just putting in the work. And you know, for the first song to be with such a big artist like Cardi, I kind of just got thrown into the songwriting world, and I didn't really know how it worked. You know what I'm saying? Because my thing is this: it's like, I know these artists can write their music. They've been who they were before I even got in the picture. You know what I'm saying? So I always go back and looking at it like, what can I add value in? And my strength has always been hooks. And I've been trying to really push the narrative for artists to understand that there's nothing wrong with receiving hooks when you're talking about songs. The biggest artists in the world
use writers.
And it's not even writers, it's collaborators.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know when Rihanna taps into her bag, when she's ready to work on the album, she channels an artist. Like, I know BB Borelli played a huge role in like the Anti album, and Party Next Door. Like, they love the artistry. And that's been my approach. Like, with the songwriting side is like not going in as a songwriter, but going in as like a brand, as an artist, as a producer, as an executive producer, as an A&R, as an engineer, like Pharrell, like Rodney Jerkins, like Timbaland. Like, when you see them in the room, you don't know what they doing. They could be sequencing something. They could be putting something together. And that's what I've been able to use to my advantage, to even just work with the people that I work with, because it's a different respect level. So fast forward, here we are now, 5 Grammys. I'm going for it. Like, I'm saying this in every interview I'm doing. Like, I'm really aiming to get at least nominated for Songwriter of the Year at the Grammys this year. Like, I qualify. I feel like I overqualify.
Definitely.
Even like the story behind it. Like, I work with a lot of dope female artists, and I've been playing a role just in general, like culturally, for a minute, and I just feel like it's not always about numbers. Like, you don't have to just have a number one to be making a mark on the music industry. And now I understand my purpose, and you know, I'm just having fun now. Like, me and artists don't even like look at it as, oh yeah, this is a songwriter. Like, I can't even tell you the last time I be sending like A&R's demos. Like, you can't get a demo from me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to send A&R's demos all the time, and they would never respond. And I'm like, how somebody just look at something and then just kind of like leave it on red when it's coming from a level of like, you know? So I just stopped doing it. And now it's like I'm in with the artists, and whatever we do is whatever we do. However we work, however we collaborate, is however we collaborate. And it's a comfort level, it's a trust level, it's a loyalty thing, and it's been going a long way, and it plays a huge role in my career. So here we are now. I'm producing now. I'm tapping back in like to my artistry, because even though I was doing stuff for other people, I was still
making
an artist. You know what I'm saying? And I never fully gave away my sound to the artists that I work with. So, you know, so it's a long story, but it's one of those things where it's like, basically, it's like God is going to put certain things in your life that might be unexpected, and certain blessings that might be unexpected. But as long as you trust him, it's going to work out in your favor, and you're going to receive things. And the blessings that I've received have been like,
beyond
I can't even
imagine.
Yeah, like I can't even, like, you know, I even forget that I have a Grammy. You know what I'm saying? Like an actual one. Like I never seen one before I ever got one. My grandparents never seen one until I actually brought one to the house. My dad never seen one. My mom never seen one. So, you know, I'm just extremely grateful and like blessed to be like in the position that I'm in right now, and be able to have a voice, to be able to be tapped in with not only like the OGs, but like the newer artists coming in, and the producers, like, and the engineers. Like I really value my relationships, and I really value like the curators, because I know how hard it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen you putting in work. I've seen you putting in work, and I just be thinking to myself like, man, it's so many people who are like us, who knew what we wanted, and people just put other things in front of us, but we have in our mind like, I'm still gonna do my thing, but I'm gonna do this because I know what it is, but I'm gonna get it through, and I'm gonna do it at such a high level. So
I want to go ahead and talk to you about a free pack that you could download. The link is going to be in the description, and it's called the Trap Genesis Beta Pack. This is a free pack that is over 3.5 gigs full of sounds, including melodies, drums, midis, drum loops, all types of stuff. So with that being said, make sure y'all go download that free kit. Now let's get back to the rest of this interview. You said a lot, man.
Like,
yeah, bro.
We got to unpack a lot. Like we got to go back.
It's really like two things I want to highlight what you said. The first thing, which I really feel like relate to the producer community. All these guys over here that y'all don't see, we got producers, they could relate, is ego. I feel like there's a lot of ego in the producer community.
Yeah.
And it just holds a lot of shit back. And I see like early on you were struggling to kind of just really accept that songwriter role, because you were just hard on just being an artist. You know what I'm saying? That was your true passion. And I just feel like, I don't know, I just wanted to highlight it, because at the end of the day, man, like if you see Instagram clips or anything we post on Instagram or other producer blogs, not even producer blogs, like it could just be music business vlogs. Like it's a lot of ego in the industry, and it just holds shit back. And sometimes I feel like a lot of people need to realize like ego is holding you back. Like it could be something so simple that you could just change and nobody really cares about. Like I have to understand, social media, half of the shit posted on social media is for like clicks. It's for engagement.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Most of the time, somebody gonna post some shit that gonna piss you off just so you can engage with the post. You see what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
So just like going on social media or being motivated by somebody else, like just motivate yourself to do what you think is right. And that leads to my second point, is like sacrifice. I feel like now we in a time now where, now don't get me wrong, I understand there's a lot of bad business and there's a lot of like shit that goes behind the scenes in the music industry that could be better. But I feel like with all the resources we have and that's fast, like everything is going right now, I feel like producers, not just producers, but people in the music industry that's kind of at the bottom and just want to kind of get that jump start, I feel like they don't really know like the sacrifice it takes into kind of working your way up. Yeah, you got people who have like overnight success. Yeah, you have people that, you know, have handouts, or people that, you know, it's a little bit easier for them. But at the end of the day, like that publishing deal you took, yeah, it was something, but it wasn't probably, you know, if they said $1 million, you probably would have started doing goddamn backflips or something.
Yeah, for sure. I probably wouldn't have worked as hard.
And that leads me to like producers.
That's true.
Like let's say Advances or something, where a producer might not have a placement at all, and I want 50K just because. Yeah. It's like, it don't work like that. Sometimes you got to work your way up. Sometimes you got to sacrifice, and sometimes you got to like look at the bigger picture. I feel like a lot of producers kind of miss that. Just looking at the bigger picture instead of looking at something and being like, damn, I don't fuck with this right now. Like, I'm just fuck this whole relationship. Like, look at where, okay, if I do this, and we can lock in more. Where can I get it in the long run? Like, where does this look like 2 years later? I feel like we don't. There's a couple of y'all that don't look at it like that no more. So that's what I really took from the story you gave.
Yeah, you got to. Like, you got to sacrifice. Like, I don't feel like you can make it in this industry if you don't sacrifice. And it's not a bad sacrifice. It could be love. Like, I don't know if y'all know, but like, I'm really happy. I'm in love. You feel me? For the whole time I've been signed and in the music industry, I was so dedicated to music that I didn't even really know how I felt to have to, you know what I'm saying? I felt like a robot. Like, I didn't know how I felt to celebrate holidays. I didn't really get to celebrate my birthday. It would always be me just spending money and doing stuff and inviting people to celebrate my birthday.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
People celebrating you on your day.
You know what I mean? Spending family time. Like, it would be like quick calls and stuff like that. And it's like, as much as I've always been like family oriented, it was just like, man, I know I got to dedicate myself in order to put in the work, because I'm 30 now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I know I put in the work in my 20s to relax. Now in my 30s and in the 40s, it's like, oh man, I can raise kids. You feel me? I can actually be a husband. I can actually tap into other things, have my hands in other businesses, because, you know, we done played in the 20s. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know how it feels. You know, like when you be in that studio, that is your first love. A lot of relationships don't work in the music industry because of what? Time.
Yeah.
It always comes down to time. A girl, oh, you don't spend enough time with me. But it's like, you're not out here fucking off, you're working.
Exactly.
But because you're not dedicating all your time into that, it's like, oh, but you care about music more than me. And at that time, that's what it was. I couldn't give a girl my time. Like, my music and my career and trying to build where I wanted to be at, that was my focus. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, there's a lot of things that I wish like people understood. Like, even like when you was bringing up like the overnight success, it be seeming like an overnight success, but it's like if people understood how many days and nights it even took to just get that overnight, you don't even realize it's overnight. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm glad that you highlighted that, because that's something that I think more like producers and people in general just need to hear. It's like, you got to trust the process. Everybody's path is going to be different. Everybody's journey is going to be different, but as long as you stick to it and you know what your main goal is and you got a vision on exactly what you want to do, man, you're going to excel at it and succeed at such a high level that it's going to blow people's minds away. And they're not going to know how you did it. And it won't be able to get recreated. Like, somebody can't look at y'all and be like, oh, I want to do what they did. It's like, you can attempt,
but it won't be
but it's not going to be the same. It's a lot of copycats and mimics, but it's like when you're original and you're chosen and you're anointed, it's just different. You feel me? So
I feel like we skipped a lot of things, and like your story coming up, like, and I can't wait till we get to like where we are right now. But let's go back a little bit, because
let's do it.
You know, we didn't talk about how much you know, you were in college when your career kind of started to take off.
Yeah.
I want you to talk about that. Like, what was that like, having the success that you were having in college? Like, did you stay in college?
Yeah.
What was your next steps from there?
It was fun. Unfortunately, I didn't stay, but I did graduate from like a trade school for film and video production. Like, I got a degree in film and video production, which is dope because
you're able
like,
to use it.
I'm able to utilize it now. Like, a lot of people don't know that. Like, I love the camera. And like, the reason why I don't do it is because somebody said, oh yeah, cameraman, get over here. And I was like, nah, like, that's it. I'm not nobody's cameraman. Like, I'm actually a person. But outside of that, man, it was great. Like, being able to, like, I was opening up for Fetty Wap, Young Thug, Kodak, Bobby Shmurda, Yo Gotti. It was just like one of those things where it's like, in Orlando, you know, they got Classic Weekend. Like, I was on all the flyers, opening for Rich Homie Quan, YFN Lucci, and I was able to bridge the gap with like Orlando college scene, with like the local scene and like the downtown scene and like the real Orlando. And it was cool because I was just being myself. I wasn't trying to be nobody else. I did the music that I wanted to do, and it worked. And the way that I just uplifted like the rest of us as college students, like, it was just always still like giving, like, yo, we doing this, we all going out, it's always lit, like showing love when I'm hosting on the mic. And you know, in high school, I was cool, but I wasn't like popular. And I feel like that made it cool for me to be in college and be cool, but might be looked at as popular because I was humble.
Right.
Even to this day, I'm like very humble because I didn't have that ego from like a high school popularity. Because I don't know if y'all know, but that's like a thing. People always go, oh yeah, when this person was popular in high, they like hold on to it
for life.
Forever.
Like we are 30 years old. Please let it go. Like for real, let it go.
You know, so like doing everything that I was doing and just being able to move around in college and just at the level that I was doing. Like I had a song with Fetty Wap in college. Yeah, where Fetty Wap had just dropped My Way with Drake.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, what? You know what I mean? So all my friends, they knew how hard I worked because they know. Like I'd be the only one going to the studio, inviting them to the studio, playing my songs in the club. So they felt like we're a part of this journey as well. So I enjoyed it because it really taught me a lot. It taught me about guerrilla marketing. It taught me about branding. I met a lot of great mentors. Shout out to Dogman. Shout out to Troy Gunn. Shout out to Yam Mello. Shout out to Miriam Live and Tony Cool, like people who were in another space but showed me how to move as a brand. Because in Florida, you have to like, it's not easy to get stuff going in Florida. Like people think like, yeah, they stick together. It's like they stick together if they rocking with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's everywhere, but they gotta be rocking with you. And to be able to like humbly say that I like was able to understand like where I was at and bring myself down to a level of like wanting to learn, wanting to understand. It helped me with my career because the same mindset that I had while I was in college moving around is the same mindset that I use now in the music industry.
So what was your deciding factor to, you know, like drop out and go full on with music?
I think it was more of, it was a lot going on. Like I was promoting my music through SoundCloud. Vine was hot at the time. I was friends with all the Viners, like She Loves Michi, Tusi. Like these is all my guys. You know what I'm saying? Ayo and Teo, B.A. B Simone. Like these were all my friends, and because I was hosting parties, I'll get them like, yo, come to Orlando. Like we got 1,000. 1,500 for you. They're gonna put you up. It's gonna be your night. We're gonna bring the college crowd, and it would be like, what? You gonna book us from Vine? You booking us from a Vine video? And it's like, yeah, like you're popular because in college we're watching who y'all are, and we think y'all funny as shit. So yeah, we want you to come. And whenever I would put music out, that's how I would promote it. I would promote it through influencers. So when the songs would come out and they would promote it on their Vine, man, it would have like hella views, and people would try to figure out like where the fuck it came from, and then that's when the choreography thing started happening. I don't know if you remember that video that Cardi B had did and Designer did, Panda, and ran down on the bitch twice when they had that choreography when they was dancing to the songs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like those same people are my friends. And when they was doing that, I was like, oh, I'm gonna send my stuff to them. I went to LA, tapped in with the dance community, you know what I'm saying? I played them my music and asked them what they thought. Got with my guy Tim Milgram, who was shooting all the content, and they were putting my music out. And it was one of those things where the music was pushing itself, and people were just discovering it just because they heard it or they seen it. And it got to a point where it's like, yo, I need to move. Like I can't just be. If I stay here, I'm just gonna be comfortable with me, content with just being known here.
Right, you had to elevate.
But I have to elevate.
I mean, wow, that's crazy because you were like way ahead of the curve. Like you were using influencer marketing before that was like actually a thing. Like,
yeah, it's crazy. Like when you go on YouTube and stuff, and you just type in Derrick Milano, it's like you see She Loves Michi, and it's like these people are like extremely like relevant right now. It just in general, just of who they are as brands. Like I remember when Future took Tusi and Michi on tour. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That was like a big moment because you looking at that, you like, damn, like y'all was just on YouTube dancing and doing these videos, hit them folks and all that stuff, and then now like Future got you up there, you teaching DJ Esco how to hit them folks and Metro. You know what I'm saying? So it's like being a part of like that always like helps with the creativity of just being like who I am, because I don't really speak. Like if I don't really know people like that, like I'll give game and whatever, but I don't really like doing interviews. And I think that a lot of people be wanting to know, like, what was it like and who and how do I know this person? How do I know that person? And it's because like I said, I respect my relationships and I respect the people that I meet and cross paths with.
And that's why I'm glad you're doing this interview now, because you have a story that a lot of people don't know anything about, because you, like you said, you don't really do interviews. So now people are able to hear, like, how you came about. You know, there's so much that you did that people don't know about. So I'm glad that you are able to use this platform to put it out there.
Yeah, nah, and I love the fact that it's your platform.
Yeah,
you feel me? Like
so long ago. So glad we finally got to do this.
All right, so I kind of want to jump into part of your story where you was in Atlanta, and the reason why, because I remember when I first moved to Atlanta, my first couple sessions that people placed me in was at Meanstreet. And I remember like being a producer from Virginia that don't really know shit, and then you go into Atlanta, like those first couple of sessions of you just working with an artist or somebody major, you're gonna learn the most from.
Yeah,
because it's like a whole different environment, a whole different switch. I remember I learned so much shit. I learned how to read the room. I learned
facts.
What to say, what not to say,
Facts.
when to not talk. I just learned a lot of shit in those first couple sessions. So like, what was that learning experience with you being a songwriter in those early sessions with those big artists?
Yeah. So my first session that they did, it was Landstrip Chip, Pop Lord, and London J.
Oh wow.
Like that was like, and to this day we all friends still. You know what I'm saying? Like we all still work. And the cool part about it is that we all work on our own projects, but we all kind of coexist. And we know that when it's time to like really say, you know what, let's really come together, it's gonna be a problem. You know what I'm saying? But man, I can't ever like erase that history, because I learned about song structure. I learned more about the production. You know, even being in the clubs and understanding like BPM and stuff like that, like actually utilizing that with production was helping me out to understand, okay, well, what's the club tempo? Like, what's the R&B pocket? Like, if understanding loops, understanding how to move, what to say. When you go into a session, like, how do you conduct yourself? Like, do you go in and the first thing you bring up is who you are and what you did, or you just let the music talk? And everybody in Atlanta just kind of let the music talk.
Yeah.
The people who really get shit done, they don't say shit. You know what I'm saying?
So
that's what I've noticed about Atlanta, and I respect, because it's like the shit just gets done. It just gets delivered. You hear it, and then it's boom. Every successful artist, my favorite artist is Thug. He don't say nothing. It just comes out. An artist just comes out. A song just comes out. A label just comes out. An album just comes out. A brand spider just comes out, and I feel like that's something that you learn, because you start feeling like, okay, if I'm the loudest in the room, am I gonna get respect, or is people gonna get annoyed? Mm-hmm. And I never want to be an annoying person in the room, because I know how it feels to see an annoying person come in the room.
Right.
We want to get the nigga out.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. Like, I understand it might be one of those things where it's like, that's his personality, that's what it is, but it's just like, yo, we all in here trying to focus on one thing, and that's getting something done. We not coming in here with no ego. We don't care what you did. We don't care. Like, when we come in the room, we kind of just strip down every accomplishment that we ever had, and we treat this shit like how it was when we first started making music. And I learned that in Atlanta, because there's so many artists and there's so many people there that's done so much. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just like, how can you compete? You got people that's done whole future projects, like Zaytoven. It's like, how you go into a session louder than Zaytoven? You know what I'm saying? How do you get in a room with Southside and just be louder than Southside? You know what I mean? Like, you got to kind of just sit back and be a student and just humbly sit back and be like, you know what? I'm learning. I'm gaining some stuff, because it goes a long way. And then that's when you pay the homage later.
Right.
When you get to that level, and it's like, yo, I learned a lot from you. Like, London, like, bro, I learned a lot from you, bro. You feel me? Like, to this day, like, you really, like, taught me how to move in this shit. And it's like moments like that you're able to kind of give the flowers when it's deserved, and even when it's still there, because a lot of people don't. People be acting like they did stuff themselves.
Yeah.
They forget about the people who played a role, and they forget about certain things. So, like I said with Atlanta, man, like, even like I said with Sammy, like, even knowing that she was an A&R consultant when I met her. Joy, like they were A&R consultants, and now they A&Rs at Atlantic, and it's like, man, to be able to see my friends flourish and still be themselves means the world. You know what I'm saying? That's why I love working in Atlanta. LA, I look at it as good for like business, but it seems like it's a contest.
Always, yeah.
In Atlanta, it's like everybody's like, okay, let's come back to reality. Let's figure out how to make these stuff and build up our stuff so we can get to LA and make LA kind of tap in on what's going on. So, What was your experience like that, though?
Man, I ain't gonna lie, just being from...
Because that's hard, though.
Being from the country and then coming to Atlanta with really no type of mentor.
Yeah.
So I'm not a person that would just speak. I had to really adjust, like, to just talking and just reading people and stuff like that. So when I first came, my first couple of sessions was very, like, shyness, very quiet. Yeah. And at the same time, you don't want to be the loudest in the room, but then you just don't want to be, like, have no purpose in the room.
Exactly.
So I kind of had to, like, figure that out, just figure out how to talk. Really just figure out how to open my mouth. Really, like, my first couple of sessions was really, they was okay, but it was more like, it was a lot of opportunities that just walked past me that would sit next to me. And I wouldn't really take advantage of, not really just be like, yo, you got to hear my shit, but just, hey, what's your name? Like, you know what I'm saying? What's your number? Who are you type shit? And I started feeling bad because I was like, figure out who people is. After I get on Instagram and look them up, be like, damn, this was a whole opportunity. I could have went this way. So that was really it was really just opening my mouth and kind of just learning how to talk to people for real.
Yeah. You could have fooled me because you've been killing it, bro. like you telling people and talking, like even like what you doing now, bro, is like the fact that you able to make this platform to get people heard. And because a lot of us don't like to talk. I get uncomfortable when like people ask me about what I do because I feel like they might think I'm lying or it's like too like hard to believe. So like even you to be able to have a platform like this to give the voices that might feel unheard heard, and knowing that that's what you had to adapt to means like a lot to this community. Because like I said, bro, a lot of people don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people just in it for themselves and they don't be thinking about like the other people that be putting in that work. So I commend you just for doing your thing as a producer, but also just being you. You know what I'm saying? And just like highlighting being a good person and because I'm pretty sure now the relationships is crazy.
Yeah, for sure. Like when I look back at it, like I'm a super overthinker, so I could go like, oh, it's a super perfect day, and the next day I'd be like, damn, I feel like I just ain't do nothing for the last couple of years. So like when I reflect and just go back, I'd be like, damn, like I be talking to her about like, damn, we did do a lot. Damn, we turned up during these couple months type shit.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Like I'm proud of y'all for real. Like every time when I see y'all clips, I'll be like, man. It's exciting to see, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, these is our people. Like, you're making history for us. We're not seeing that no more.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't really have too many household names like they did back in the day. You know what I'm saying? These people don't be caring to meet with producers and songwriters and engineers. Like, you can't just go up to Breakfast Club and be like, yeah, I produce with. They'd be like, okay, so like, what's...
And they should,
cool,
though,
you know what I'm saying? Like, so for you to even give people that moment to just let the world know who it is, you don't know what could come from it. Like, I don't know. Have y'all ever did testimonials, like, for the interviews that y'all did, like, with people? Like, did they ever come back to you and tell you, like, anything they got from it, doing an interview with y'all?
We get a lot. We get a lot of emails, DMs. My favorite thing is when I go to like events, especially in Atlanta. That's when I really know, like, okay, we on the right path. Like, we doing something.
That's really when people will come up to you and like tell you, like, you know, what the platform does for them, what they're learning from it. Like, that's really when you find out.
Yeah, nah, that's hard. Nah, I commend y'all, real shit.
I do want to speak on one person that you mentioned a little bit, and that's London J. London J was really one of my favorite. I got a lot of favorite interviews, but London J, I feel like was a very underrated interview. I kind of peaked London J energy when he walked in, and I just felt like, you know how you have people just walk in and just make you feel comfortable?
Yeah.
That was London J when I did that interview, and I kind of wanted to ask you, like, who was a person that you kind of learned the most from, and what is that you learned from them? And you already said it was London J, so I'm kind of like, I just want to know, like, what's the biggest piece of advice London J gave you that just took your songwriting from here to here?
So musically, I'm gonna give you three. For life, I'm gonna say my mom. Because her whole thing was be a good person, be genuine, move in your character, respect people. music industry, I'm going to say London J, because he opened up my eyes to being open to trying different type of styles of music. He challenged me to want to work on different styles of music. He challenged me as an artist, as a writer, as a producer. He taught me how people move. Like when it comes to the industry, he told me what to look out in people and like to see how certain people play the game. And he taught me how to like play the game where you still are getting your shit off, but you still are able to respectfully and humbly do your shit, but in a way where it's not doing too much.
Right.
For like day-to-day moving around outside, I would say Terrence Nason, who I brought up before, he's a manager that I had, and to be honest, like that's my guy. Like if he ever wanted to just say, "I want to do it again," it's like I'm open to it because I learned a lot from him. You know what I'm saying? And the biggest message that I got from him was trust the process. He used to say it all the time. I call him pissed. Man, T, these people don't believe in me. I'll make 5 songs talking about the industry. Like I want to kick down the door and they don't believe him. And he'll just be like, look, just trust the process. Just trust the process. And that's what made me sit back, calm down, and be like, all right, bet. I'm going to just do what I know, and whatever it's going to be is what it's going to be. And those 3, I would say, is like the most, they played the biggest roles, I would say, in like just my career and in life, for sure.
I think your genuineness and like your humbleness is like one of your best qualities. Like even with people that don't really know you like that, like when you first meet people, the way you are with somebody that you've known for years, you're the same way with like somebody that you just met. And I think that's what takes you so far in this industry. Because ever since I met you, you've always been like real genuine and humble. Like I remember you came for like one of the first sessions I ever did as an A&R. Like I don't even know if you remember that, but yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, like that meant a lot to me, you know?
Yeah.
So I really appreciate
for sure. I remember that.
I'm very excited to talk about this, but I definitely want to pick your brain and talk about the songwriter process.
Let's do it.
Kind of just walk us through you in the studio and what's that like writing songs. And I know every song got a different feeling, different environment, but kind of just walk us through that process.
So for me, I'm a personal perspective songwriter. My songs are more like personal, I would say, like more what I'm going through and just kind of like utilizing it and making it a bigger meaning. Like I said, people tend to use my hooks more because the hook is most catchiest part, and that's breaking down the concept. But a lot of the times, like when it comes down to like verses, and like I said, there's artists that sometimes want to use the verses, and then there's artists that only want to use the hooks. My verses are very personal. Like it's more speaking on like who that person is or who I am as a person, and necessarily, you know, that sometimes might not be what an artist might be looking for, because, you know, these labels like, oh, we want hits, we need the TikTok moment, we need this, and it's just like everything's not going to be a TikTok moment. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to talk about the music and we got to talk about what we're feeling, because it's like these songs is like coming out of our minds. Like God is putting these songs literally in our minds to put these songs out, and it's like coming out. Like I record probably over 1,000 songs a year, and it's been like this since I was a kid. I got so many songs, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like you can't take that for granted. Like producers can't take that for granted, that y'all just make beats that might not sound like any beat that we've ever heard ever. So for me, I love to go in my session with an open mind. I respect my engineers, but now I'm starting to realize that like every time I like lock in with an engineer, because I respect them more than engineers, I be wanting to know if they produce. I want to know if they are artists. I want to know if they songwrite. I start introducing them and bringing them to a different world where they start, you know, wanting to do more than just engineer. And it kind of becomes a gift and a curse, because you meet these talented people that are great at what they do, but then it's like, oh, but I want to produce. And then it's like, when I want to spend 10 hours in the studio to work on 10, 12 songs, it's like, now it's like,
so, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now I'd rather record myself. And it's like, I've been like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've been doing music since I was 14 years old. Like, I'm cool with literally having Pro Tools set up, my C800 sitting next to me, my shit lined up, and I know exactly how I want my shit to sound. I got my template. I feel like I have one of the hardest templates in the industry.
No, yeah, you do.
All my, like, Flo Milli recorded Never Lose Me on my template.
Oh, wow.
Every song pretty much that I'm on that's like been pretty much written or worked on, the artist usually keeps my stuff in the backgrounds on like the hooks. So I personally feel like my template is one of them. So I'm comfortable with recording myself. So, you know, so for me, I just lock in. Sometimes I used to want people in the studio. I don't mind if people are in the studio. If they are, it's better because then I feel like it's like a rec game where it's like you got to show off like who you is because people are gonna be in there like, whoa, I never seen this before. But then when I'm by myself, it's like I'm challenging myself. I set my mic up, I turn the TV on, and I turn on music videos probably to like 15, volume 15, 17, where you can still hear it in the back. So when I'm recording and I'm just like freestyling and getting my stuff off, even when I stop, I'm hearing something that's adding like something else in my ear. So it's like it doesn't stop. And I just go. And sometimes I'll just record a full song and then be like, okay, this is the best part from this. This is the best part from this. And I've realized now that like my first song is always dope. The second one is always something that's gonna get picked up, but the third one is always the hit. So like I always tell an artist, like if you get in the studio with me or a producer and we're working, the first one is gonna be the vibe. The second one is gonna be more personal, but the third one is always gonna be that's the one. So, you know, for me, it's like I just kind of just go in and just be Derrick the artist. And when I do work with other artists and stuff like that, I go in and ask them like regular conversation, like, what's up? Like on this last album that Megan just put out, I remember before we started working on it, she told me that she had a conversation with The Dream in Paris. And she was like, yeah, I talked to The Dream. Jay-Z was at the table. Beyonce had just did her show. And we was just talking about just like working on the album. And, you know, The Dream is just always there. He's always been a role in Beyonce's career. And he was like, you need to just lock in with somebody that you trust as an artist and trust as a collaborator. And she trusts me. So when she was working on this last album, like we was sparring, like going back and forth. Like there'd be times when I'll have a hook that'd be fire, then she'll have a hook that'd be fire, and then I'll be like, yo, Source, did she change that? And he'd be like, yeah, she liked this more than I heard. I'm like, yeah, I ain't gonna lie. She bodied that. But it was no ego though. Right. And we was able to just kind of go off of each other and have fun. And I think that that's like missing. Like I think people tend to feel like, I'm tired of people feeling like the songwriting process is like we're telling people that what they have to do. Yeah. There might be songwriters out there, and y'all can tell us, like y'all can comment, like this person tells us that we have to do this. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me, whatever's gonna make you comfortable and get the job done is what I'm on. Like if you want me to go in, like when I work with Nicki, she'll be like, yo, lay melodies, lay flows. And I'll go in there and I'll lay maybe 8 takes of just minutes funny and none. And then she'll call me later and be like, hey, so I did an idea off the flow that you laid down for me. Tell me what you think. And then I'll hear it, and then boom, there's yikes. You feel me? It's just like, oh, shoot. It necessarily wasn't songwriting. Right. It was collaboration, but it was utilizing certain tools that come with songwriting that make it the bigger picture. And I really wish that like artists understand. I think now I can speak for myself, and I can speak for Pop Lord, and I can speak for London, and I can speak for Dougie, and I can speak for Vori and Beam, that we've literally understood being in the room and being a vessel in all aspects. We not going in there trying to tell nobody what they need to do. We going in there as your homeboy that do music too. That might just be sitting in the cut and you like, hey, you fuck with that? Yeah. And it's like, it's cool. I think you could beat it, but we not in there as no yes man. And I think that that's why now, like you're seeing the success, And you're seeing more collaborations. And now when you see these projects drop, it's not like just a one-off. You're seeing
keep
back to
together,
back
yeah.
to back to back. Like I see Kane, like that's my guy, Super Kane. Like he is another one who's just like super invested with the artist that he works with, and then you can see it in the work because when you look at catalogs, especially when artists drop projects, it's like at least 3 or 4 songs on the project. You don't get that from telling somebody what they need to do.
Right.
You get that from being open to collaborating and being open to suggestions and getting the artist comfortable enough to like trust your vision as much as you trust their vision and coming together. So, you know, like I said, like speaking for on the songwriting side of it now, I actually enjoy it. At first I didn't really get it, but now I actually enjoy it because it's like the best thing that I love from when I work with artists when they respond is like I just feel like you get me. Like you know me. And I feel like that means a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because I know for myself, like if I don't know you or I don't get you or I don't trust you, I'm probably not gonna work with you. I'm not. Like if you're you could be talented, but if it's not like adding to what I'm already doing or if it's not something different, I'm probably not gonna be interested. So like I said, with the songwriting side of things now, it's like I get it. And it's fun. It challenges us. And now we're getting to those points now where it's like a little bit deeper. Now it's like, okay, the pop stuff, like we be wanting to do pop songs, you feel me? Like I know all of us want to see what it's like to get a pop hit. I've met pop producers and pop writers who'll come to me and be like, yeah, man, I just wrote a song last year for this dude, bro, and I bought 2 houses. And it's just like, damn, like we was in the trenches with this artist for 2 years and we still fighting for an advance.
Yeah.
But I get it, you know what I'm saying? But now it's like, okay, Megan, I kind of want you to do a song with a big pop artist. And I kind of want us to work on it together so it's not just a pop record for you, but it's a pop record for the team. It's a pop record for your producers. It's a pop record for your engineers. It's a pop record for your marketing team because it's different in that space. And I think that now that we get in there, I think that's where Pharrell, Timbaland and all them utilized and Rodney Jerkins was able to be like, have these crazy records because now they're merging the worlds.
Putting the pieces together.
So that's where it's at now. Like where it's at now basically is like we all want to win. We all want to have $100 million catalogs. Like if we're working and you don't want to have $100 million+ catalog, then we shouldn't be working. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you love music. Like let's just keep building and elevating. And I think the more that the artist collaborates and works, they're like more open to trying new things. So it's been dope.
Before we get back into the video, I gotta tell you about this crazy beat battle we are doing. We're flying out one producer to Atlanta to work with Sunny Digital, DB, Twisted Jeans, and a whole bunch of other producers. We're giving away $1,000 cash, a $500 PG gift card, and we're giving away an expensive pair of studio headphones. All you gotta do is click the link in the description, download our Trap Genesis beta pack, like a fire beat with it. It gotta be 100% fire, bro. And the producer with the hardest beat is gonna be the one that wins all these prizes. That's include a free collab with all these industry producers. They getting flown out to Atlanta for 100% free. All right, let's get back to the video.
So my next question, before I even ask my next question, I really want to, I'm glad that you spoke on the, misunderstoodness of songwriting. I remember like that first session that I was talking about, like you brought in an artist, I won't say no names, but I remember you brought in an artist that wasn't, per se comfortable with like using a writer. They never used a writer before, but you were able to like collaborate with her to the point where she felt so comfortable, like by the end, like, and you actually challenged her to make a song that was like different from what she was used to, get in the studio and record it. And I think like that was probably one of the best songs I ever heard her make, literally. So I
wish like me and her worked more. You know what I'm saying?
And I think y'all should. I hope like one day she circles back around and like, because that session was like really amazing to watch. I think that was like my first real experience of like me seeing like what songwriting actually is. Because, it's a lot of misconstrued about what songwriting actually is. So like that was my first time seeing like your process and how songwriting could be so different from what everyone thinks it is.
Exactly. Nah, for sure. That session was crazy. Like, and once again, you was tapped in, you know what I'm saying? And nothing changed. You the same way, you know what I mean? Like that was actually like a really good session. I think that session taught me a lot, even just about like who you bring in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like how to move, because I feel like that's why the song didn't get done, because I didn't feel like the room was like, I couldn't Derrick curate it.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like we all dope, but like I said, we had an artist that was sensitive and we had to be gentle with that situation. And I feel like if we had like a real conversation prior on how to move on it, it would have been
a complete song, yeah. And it would have been out of there, yeah.
For sure. But nah, like I said, y'all wear a lot of hats. So like I'm even glad that you even plugging that in, because we need new A&Rs. Straight up. This is me telling y'all, like, we need new A&Rs. It is what it is. We got some dope ones that's fire, but we definitely need ones that are outside and know what's going on and actually care about the talent and don't look necessarily at the numbers, because the numbers is going to come regardless.
Right.
If the A&R already believes, like if you already believe in an artist, 9 times out of 10, you already did your homework. You probably done went to a showcase. You probably done seen a little pop-up show that they did. Right. You probably know the underground stuff that they're using to even get your attention. Somebody that you respect probably brought you up to them, and then now it's one of those things. So yes, we need new A&Rs. It's a new era. It's a new time. So if y'all looking for A&Rs, straight up.
Period.
Oh God.
I'm
shit.
available.
Real shit.
I have a technical question.
What up?
And personally, like, I just want to know kind of what's your take on this, but I always been fascinated by like the recording process. I feel like this is my personal take, my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I feel like the recording process is like one of the most very important parts of the song, because, okay, I've been in a session with Honcho where you have guys like that who they just come with a line, punch in, and it just perfect. And then you got guys like, I used to watch like Juice WRLD videos and I used to record. And then you got guys like Thug, who, and like Lil Keed, how people laugh at their videos and stuff, but like, bro, Thug music, like we know of a bowl of artists that came from being inspired by Thug. Yep. And we know like what we like about Thug music. And I know like just by watching his videos of how he records, some of that music, some of those ad-libs, those parts where he's singing, that comes from his recording process. That comes from him just getting on the mic, catching the melody, catching the flow, not even thinking about words. And some of that stuff might just stay without words and stuff like that. So I kind of want to know like, just your thought on the recording process, and like, what's your favorite recording process? Like, what's most exciting to you in the room when artists record?
My favorite part of the recording process is, like I said, in front of that mic and just going off the top of the head. Like, I respect writing, but first instinct, I feel like is the best, because you're able to, like, that's what's on your mind. It's the first thing that you're saying, and then that's what I think is what grabs everybody else, because that's where you come up with the stuff that people never heard. Right. It's just being vulnerable enough to let it out. And I think the vulnerability from the artist is probably my best, like even myself as an artist, is my favorite thing about the recording process, is to put my vulnerability in the music and not feel like I'm doing this to catch a hit. Like I'm just saying anything just because it's cool or trendy. Like I'm actually saying some shit that I'm actually really going through. I actually really feel, because I know if I'm feeling that way, there's thousands of people, millions of people that's probably feeling the same way too, but haven't really coped to knowing how to say it or put it out in the music. So I think the vulnerability is my favorite part, and then also like the ad-libs. Like a lot of artists don't like ad-libs. Like the more I get in with artists, and I'm like, all right, let's get this ad-lib track. They be like, I hate ad-libs. I'm like, dang, really? Like, is that old? Because ad-libs has always been my shit. Like ad-libs is the shit. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of artists that just want to go all the way through. I think maybe they feel like the ad-libs takes away from what's being said. But like certain artists have like ad-libs that's like iconic. Like,
thanks.
Like you need it in there.
Yeah,
and it's
you rapping
like,
your favorite song and then you saying the ad-libs with it.
Yeah, like I think my favorite session that I've ever had was probably with Pop Smoke. Like we worked on Meet the Woo 2 in Jungle in New York. Stephen Victor had me and Pop lock in with Wonder Girl and Axel and Mello and Cash Money AP. And I just remember, like, the way that we were working, it was like, he'd say some stuff, I'd say some stuff, but it was the texture on how he said it that was like, you knew this shit was gonna sound fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember when we did She Got a Thing for Niggas with Money. You feel me? It's like I said it first, for the hook, I'm like, yeah, she got a thing for niggas with money. But then he came in, she got a thing and niggas with money. And it just made I was just like, oh, nah, this gonna go. Because a girl gonna feel that and be like, it's like I don't know, it's just certain things. And so I would say like that plays a huge, like, that was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And then just to hear it in real time and just seeing like going to Starlets and hearing the reaction when we played it and just seeing all the girls just kind of like go crazy for that record. It's just like, damn, you feel me? Like,
that was the
we knew.
Anthem.
You feel me? So it was like, you know, but yeah, the vulnerability and like the ad-libs and then like the texture of the artist is probably like my favorite part because that's why we love the artists. We love what they say, but is something about the way it's being said. Like Nicki, when she taps into Roman and she taps into her singing, and it's just like, damn, I remember when I first heard it, what it did to my ear. Like, that shit was crazy. So like, I think that's my favorite part. Like, once we figure out what we gonna do and that artist go in that booth, and you like, oh shit. When Juicy J go in there and you tell him to do his ad-libs, and Juicy J does the ad-libs,
it's crazy.
it's like, what the fuck? Like, these is Juicy J ad-libs. Like, we could get them to say, yeah, ho. You feel me? But in real time. Like, just to be able to take that and be like, damn, like, working with Wiz, working on Cushion Orange Juice too. You feel me? Sitting in the studio with him and just hearing the Wiz laugh. And hearing them light the Cushion Orange Juice, nigga. It's just like, whoa, I remember where I was when I first heard it. So I think that's probably like my favorite part, to be honest.
So, you know, you've been giving producers their flowers the whole interview. But I do want to talk about something that doesn't get talked about a lot within the songwriting industry, how you know, you guys are playmakers. You know, you plug in producers a lot of the times.
Yeah. But
you don't often get your credit for it. You don't often get or even payment for it. Like, can we talk about that for a little bit?
For sure. It's crazy because it's like you always hear these stories like, oh yeah, songwriters make the most money. And it's just like, being one, it's just like, really? Like, that's the narrative? Unfortunately, when we're songwriters, we go in these sessions just kind of just off of just hopes sometimes. Like, I remember when I was hoping to get in the studio with an artist and hoping that they cut the song, or hoping they even liked a song, or hoping that the A&R got it to the artist in hopes that the artist liked it, in hopes that the label liked it, in hopes that it'd be a single. And, you know, we kind of just go in and just do our thing, and then it's like sometimes it feels like we just get disposed. Like, it's like, okay, cool, we got it, good. A lot of the producers, you know, they have their tags. So, like, when you hear the tag, it's like, oh, shoot, that's so-and-so. There have been times when I've done songs with artists, I might not even know the producer, and actually put the artist on to the producer and the sound that they did and be like, yo, this is the wave, like, you need to rock with them. They just did da-da-da-da-da. Hit the producer and be like, yo, we got some stuff working on a specific artist. And then it's just like, oh, word, it's lit. And then the song comes out and it's just like, oh, bro, I didn't know that we were supposed to. And it's just like, outside of just understanding business, where's your character though?
Yeah.
Like, as a person, like, how you're not thanking nobody, you just kind of just doing your thing. And then now you got the world thinking that
it's all you.
Yeah, so now when the artist gets in with you because they heard your tag, and you have an artist who never worked with you before, and they're like, oh, I loved what you did with so-and-so, and then you go in with the artist, and then the artist is like,
it's not the same.
This isn't it. You're not even calling us. Like, there's producers that I've got millions of dollars, straight up. I'm just going to put it out there. Publishing deals, projects of EPs, all types of stuff. You feel me? Not one time have I ever been the type of person to be like, yo, I need to sign you. Oh, I need you to do this. But I do go off of people's character. So necessarily, for me, it's not always, oh yeah, I need a piece. Because realistically, some producers are going to be like, Juicy J, if we work on something together, he looks out.
Yeah.
You feel me? Slade, looks out. Buddha Bless, look out. Take Keith, they look out. London on the track, they look out. It's like certain people, they already know because they've been polished and they've been in this industry so long that they already know the relationships with songwriters and producers and artists. Like they understand the glue to make something work, and they try to keep it going, so eventually you do executive production of projects and you bring it in the people. But there's been producers that I've gotten some bread and I never heard from ever again.
Not even a simple
I'll be like,
you.
Even outside of a thank you, it's like, yo, I'm working with this artist. Do you have any ideas? Do you want to come in on it? Like, it's just little stuff like that, because I don't hold my nuts.
Yeah.
Like, I let anybody come in sessions. Like, I'm working with producers from all different places, all different backgrounds, all different skin tones, pop, rap, whatever. You feel me? Like I'm like one of those people where it's like, listen, if we're gonna get this shit across the finish line, I know that we're gonna get this shit across the finish line together. It's not like I need to sign 100 producers underneath me to be successful.
Right.
I get it, and people will bring it up to me like, oh yeah, why aren't you signing these producers? And it's like, man, with me, it's like a personal thing. Like, I'm actually in the process of signing one of my first producers, but not only am I like signing him, but I also got him a publishing deal.
Right.
And before he even got that, got him placements, put him in the room with the artist and kind of molded him already to how to move in this shit. And I feel like that's my approach. So I started realizing that everybody's not gonna move like you move.
Everybody's not built like that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I get it. But I will say this, like if you're a producer and you feel like we're gonna work and you're not gonna call me or you're not gonna like do any type of like business or say, yo, I'm gonna throw you on the production or I'm gonna give you a point, especially if you don't know the artist, don't hit me up. It's like straight like that. It's not nothing personal, but it's just business, and that's just what it's gonna be. I put in a lot of work in the music industry. I put a lot of work in building myself, my brand, and my name, and I work with some credible artists, and I just feel like where I'm at now, like I have the right to feel that way. Because I look at my peers, and I look at the people that I look up to, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't see Hitmaker just gonna just throw a lob without somebody like looking out in any aspect. You know what I'm saying? Like I know that he's looking at it like, yo, if I'm bringing somebody in, it's gonna benefit all parties.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know Pharrell isn't about to just, unless he knows it's like, okay, this, you know what I'm saying? And that's how we gotta move. Like we gotta move like a family. Like people can make it seem like, oh yeah, business, but at the end of the day, it's like, I look at longevity.
Yeah.
I don't want to just work with an artist for one song.
You want to build a relationship.
I want to build a relationship and eventually do full projects and full EPs of these projects. And I want to bring my peoples on and know that we going in on this shit together. And this shit's going to benefit and we all going to celebrate and everybody's going to be happy and everybody's going to get their credit. And like I said, that's why I kind of commend Megan. Straight up. Like she brought me in, she brought Jew, and she brought Bankroll Got It in. And Juicy J. And we worked on that whole project as a team. Of course, there were some songs that had other producers and stuff, but like the core, like she stuck on that and she stood on that. You feel me? And a lot of people don't. So all I'm saying is like producers, like if y'all want to work, like it got to be some type of like trade-off. It's not gonna be like, yo, I'm gonna send you 30 beats, lay some ideas on it, and then I lay 3-4 ideas and pull up on the artist, play the song, get it to the A&R, get it cut, get the labels excited, and then the song comes out and then I don't hear from you. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
You feel me? So, that's what it is.
I ain't really got too much to add on to it, but exclamation point is really no genuine. I ain't gonna say that, but it's over the years it's been a big decline in genuine relationships in the producer community, man. It's like y'all see that shit.
Doggy.
The reason why a lot of niggas don't respond to our DMs when we want to send loops because they know that shit not genuine. Like I can name a fuck ton of producers that they talk about this shit in the rooms all the time and just be like, man, these niggas is fake. They just want placements and shit like that. Like we just have to. And one thing I learned, and I like I'm never scared to admit, when I first came to Atlanta, I was one of them spammy ass niggas.
Yeah.
Man, let's do this. I ain't really care too much. I was just shooting shot at everybody, shooting the same shit at everybody. But then when I realized I need to just sit back and just really pick and choose, like, who do I actually flow with? Because at the same time, like, you know what I'm saying, you might not be ready to work with this person yet, or you might not have what this person wants or need right now. So when I just sat back and actually said, let me just sit back and just see who I genuinely connect with, genuinely flow with, like shit will come. But if you just spamming shit, it might work, but then you got niggas like this who call it out, they get mad. Now they calling out in the interviews, you feel me? Like, you'll see the patterns, you feel me? Like, we just go back to genuine relationships and just building relationships. It just make everything peaceful. That's what I'm trying to say. He pretty much said everything.
Yeah, just be a good person. Like, just be solid. Like, I don't see what's the problem with being solid. Like, if you sending somebody something and you're expecting to get something, do something in return. It could be something small. Like, it could be like, yo, I know you're an artist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I rock with you and thank you for helping me get this placement. Here go 3 beats that you can any 3 beats that you like, I'ma just no fee, you can use them on your project. You feel me? Like, it's small stuff like that. Like, and if you making 100 beats, like, what is that?
Nothing, literally.
I got thousands of songs. If like somebody takes something, like, man, I really want this, it's like, bro, you can have it. Like, I can, you know what I'm saying? But it's like something though. Like, you can't just be green and just keep moving and being greedy, because at that point, like, we're all friends. We all talk. We all friends. Like, pretty much all the placements that I got coming out or all the stuff that I've worked on recently is like the same people in my tags. It be the same people. You know what I'm saying? And then when we do throw a oop to a certain group of people, those loop makers that be overseas, it's like, y'all are extremely talented, but then y'all have to think like, you don't know these people over here. So a fair trade-off is like, you work with the biggest artists in y'all country. And it's like, you're using our drums or you using our song ideas and playing it for the biggest artists on your side. So now we're just crossing genres, but don't feel like you could just come over here and then try to like Debo and bully shit. Like, that shit ain't right. Like, that's not how it go. Right. Because then the lawyers look crazy and then the artist is disappointed and then everybody just kind of like trying to figure it out. And then you all the way in Denmark and it's just like, bro, what the hell, what we supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? So just be a good person, bro, and just be solid and stand on your shit and understand longevity and understand building genuine relationships, and it's gonna take you a long way. Motherfuckers is gonna call you back. It gotta be embarrassing to not get called back.
Let's talk about the music industry downplaying accolades, like, because that's a thing. That's another thing going on in the industry that, you know, I think people forget, like, what you have done and why you deserve, like, you know, what you're asking for, I'm sure is not crazy because of the accolades that you have. So you deserve what you're asking for. Yeah. But people don't understand that in the music industry. I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't know if because, like, now they're basing everything off of, like, social media that, like, they feel like certain things don't have the same value. Like, even having Grammys, you feel me? And actually having one. It's the difference when you have, like, nominations or the paper. There's nothing wrong with it, but I actually have one and then still have to argue with an A&R about getting paid or my expectations on a record.
Right. Like, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of crazy to me that it's like they look at it like, oh, it's just a Grammy. Like, people would be like, oh, yeah. Like, when we have these titles in front of your name, like, literally, like, my friend, I could show you. My friend texted me today, Fritz, and said, yo, I have a meeting with a certain company, and I want to bring up you. He said, I want to introduce you. I know you're a man of many talents. I just can't limit it. So I said, say executive producer and artist. So then he wrote back and said, Grammy award winning executive producer, songwriter, artist. And I said, yeah, that's perfect. I said, I'll always be forgetting I got the Grammy. Because literally I wrote in here, I said the industry feel like it downplayed the achievement so much that it's just like, I don't even think when you bring it up to people, sometimes people look at it like, oh, this is like, what?
You can't get a Grammy in the store.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? So it kind of like, I don't even, because that definitely needs to be a title that I need to say when I do meet people or when people do, you know what I'm saying?
And don't just say Grammy Award winning, say 5-time Grammy Award winning.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like, even outside of just that, it's like,
first week sales.
Yeah, like when we talking about first week sales and we talking about Billboard charts, like I literally see people talking about artists who peak at like 48 or like 36 and be like, it's a flop. How? Like, we talking about Hot 100. These are the Hot 100 songs in the whole world. Well, we'll say U.S. and then you got the global Hot 100.
Right.
But realistically, it's like these are the 100 songs that, because how many songs come out a day, they say, or a week? Does anybody know? Or could we Google it? Because everybody always brings that up, like, oh, it's so hard to be an artist now because there's so many songs that come out every day or every week.
They say 120,000 new songs are released every day.
Okay, right? So let's do that real fast. Let's add this up. 120,000.
Every day?
Mm-hmm. Every day.
120,000 times 7.
840,000.
So, in a week, for what the AI, Google, whatever, saying is 840,000 songs come out. How can you knock an artist that's on the Hot 100?
Exactly.
I don't give a fuck. Even when it's for me being an artist, if I get 99, I'm gonna celebrate that motherfucker like it's number one. Because at the end of the day, it's like, man, we can't forget where we came from.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people do. It's no more humble beginnings. Like, that's another thing missing in the industry. Like,
you feel me? Like, the first week sales, they'll like talk about an artist if they didn't do 100,000. It's like, oh yeah, they only sold 48,000. It's like, bro, that's a big deal right now. You feel me? Like, we, like, as black creatives, what we can't do is bring down other black creatives. If anything, we have to figure out how to merge it and bring it together to match these heights, to compete, because right now they're making it seem like our stuff isn't what it is, and they feel like we have to do stuff like do country songs to get this success. And it's like, we can if we want to, because it comes from us, like that's what we do. But at the end of the day, it's like we're still putting in work as creatives, and we don't want to feel like we're not going to get the same love if we don't go number one.
Yeah.
Like, that's not fair. That's not fair to the artists. That's not fair to the creatives that's involved. That's not fair to the fan bases, because now it's like the fan bases be feeling like they let the artists down. And it's like, how you did your part by listening. If anything, let's buy more records. You feel me? Let's go on iTunes and purchase more. You feel me? Or let's get the vinyls and the hard copies and encourage artists to drop vinyls and put the music out like that, and merch and stuff like that, so we can benefit off that, instead of just streaming everything, because the streaming, we not really seeing too much from that. You know what I mean? Like, they say for every 10 million streams, it's like $1,000 or something like that. Something crazy. And it's like 10 million streams is a lot.
That's a lot.
But imagine if 10 million people bought something that was $9.99. Like I said, I understand it though. Like, I get it. Like, it's a new time. It's streaming. But like I said, as black creatives though, we do have to value our art a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Like, we really have to take it serious, and we really have to go hard as people and as a unit together to really achieve what we know what we can achieve. Like, there should be no reason why it shouldn't be 10 black creatives, artists on the Hot 100 top 10. It should be Glow, Nicki, Megan, Lotto, everybody. Ice Spice, Moneybagg Yo, Lil Baby. Like, it should literally be, because that's what it used to look like.
Yeah.
It used to look like that. When you go back to 2005, 2004, man, it should say Lil Jon, Nelly, Ludacris. That is like, God, Usher. Yeah. Now it's like, damn, like, we got to kind of like sell ourselves short and like kind of like dumb down our creativity to see these achievements. And then it's like looked down upon by our own peer group. And then if our own peer groups and our own people are talking down upon it, think about how other people are.
Right.
They looking at it like, oh, well, if they don't care, they talking down about their artists, then should we support it too? Like, it should be one of those things where every time an artist drops, like, I seen Cardi talking about it. Like, she was like, yo, when I drop, like, y'all be, like, support it. You feel me? Like, when every artist that you like drops, support it. Support it, yeah. Like, listen to it. Give it a chance. Like, it's nothing wrong. It's music. And I think people kind of forgot about that this is music.
Yeah, they made it so serious. Music
like,
is
this
supposed
is
to be
fucking
a feeling,
music.
like...
You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's fucking great. Like, everybody, like, everybody who I just named, like, y'all are all great. Like, there's there's some people who've been in it longer, who achieved a lot more, but at the end of the day, like, it's a huge accomplishment to even be in the conversation as a household name artist, a legacy artist. Like, that's a big deal because we see people come and go. You
There's
feel
so
me?
many people fighting to be an artist every day, so it's like...
man, we got to really appreciate all the creatives that we have and, like, really champion when we all drop, you know what I'm saying? And just understand that, like, we're a unit, and it starts with us. It starts with us.
So can you talk about the Coi Leray tweet? Just get into... I know there's a lot of misconceptions about what goes on behind the scenes with songwriters. So kind of just clear that up a little bit.
What's she tweet?
The male songwriters write about rap beef, like...
Oh, I did see that. People been sending it to my DM. I did see that. My thing is this. It's like a lot of the artists that, like, work with these other producers, writers, whatever, like, those is personal relationships. I personally feel like, realistically, if we being honest, if an artist is dissing somebody, I feel like they're doing it themselves. Because as a creator, like, we don't know what y'all got going on.
Right.
We have no idea what y'all got going on. And then as men, it's like we are known to stay out of women's business. So if an artist comes to us and they might feel a way towards another artist, 9 times out of 10, as a man, we gonna be like, oh, that's, y'all gotta handle that.
Yeah, don't
like,
got nothing to do with us.
I'm cool. Like, keep me out of that, because that's what real men are supposed to do. Like, let the women handle the women's stuff. So I don't know where the narrative is coming from. I don't know. I mean, because music is universal. So if, like, people feel like a line or a hook might be leaning towards them, and if the shoe fits, then shit, the shoe fits. But at the end of the day, it's like, I don't think that there's men really just going in and, like, dissing. Like, that's kind of crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like these artists, like I said, they were who they were anyway before. And you're a woman. Y'all gonna do what y'all want to do anyway.
Always.
As a man, we can always be like, nah, that's not a good idea. And what are you gonna say?
Well, if I want to do it, I'm gonna do it.
Exactly. And we're not about to go back and forth with you, because especially when we're talking about, like, as a man working with female artists, it's like you have to know your boundaries.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm your friend. Nothing more, nothing less. As your friend, I'm going to say how I feel. And if you either agree with it, you're going to agree with it. If you don't, you don't. But I'm going to leave it at that.
Right.
I'm not going to try to influence you to do anything that you don't feel like you have to do. Nothing. Like, at the end of the day, these artists have a mind of their own, and they're successful doing what they do. So, you know, like I said, we respect all artists. And I just, like I said, the whole songwriting stuff is like, man, we got to stop that narrative, bro. Like, that's not what it is no more. Like, we are all friends with these people. And if we work with these artists, we're working with these artists. And it's not necessarily songwriting. Like, some artists are really genuine fans of our music.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, because let me ask you a question. I'm going to use my favorite artist as an example, right? Thug. If Thug said he wanted to write a song for Mariah the Scientist, do you think she's going to turn it down?
No.
Because she's what?
You know?
A fan of
his music, yeah.
So getting a song from him is like, oh, shit. That's like if Thug came to me and was like, hey, bro, I know you working with this person. I got a crazy idea. It's just a hook, but you know what I'm saying? You think you could change it and maybe put your sauce on it? I'm going to say no. Like, I respect your craft. Like, this is about respect. Like, like I said before, if you don't respect the people that you work with, then why are you working with them?
Right.
And I feel like now we're in a space where these artists respect their collaborators. They respect the producers, they respect the engineers, they respect the songwriters, and they respect the craft of what it is. So, you know, like I said, with that tweet, like, it is what it is. Like, if that's how she feels, then that's how she feels. It's no love lost. But for speaking on how I feel about it, a woman is going to do what a woman is going to do, and can't no man influence
that, yeah,
what she's going to do. If a girl wants to go on and diss somebody, then she's going to do it. You feel me? But like I said, as men, it's our job to stay out of women's business. So like I said, if we're working on something and it's just a hook, it's a hook that we're trying to make bigger.
Yeah.
But like, if we talking about dissing, like, you know what a diss track is?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
what?
you're probably the best person to answer this on this podcast because you are a writer.
Yeah.
But let's talk about diss culture. How do we feel about diss records, especially the songs that came out? Like, do you feel like it has a negative impact on hip hop, or is it entertaining? Me personally, now when I say diss records, I'm not talking about actual. I'm talking about like lyric records, like the Drake Kendrick beef or the back and forth like that. I'm not talking about those other diss songs. That's real personal. But how do you feel about that culture?
I feel like it's hip hop.
Yeah. Thank you. That's it, bro.
It's hip hop. Like it's always been hip hop.
Thank you, bro.
Like if anything, like I feel like this did help because I think people are now like taking music a little bit more serious now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, well now that I know that people are listening to everything that I am saying in my music and everything I do, I want to make sure that whatever I'm saying and whatever I'm doing is what I want to be represented by. So I think it does help because I think it's bringing back substance as well when it comes to music. But at the end of the day, it's hip hop, and I don't knock it because it's been around before this situation.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think like this situation is definitely a moment. But if we talked about the top 10 diss tracks ever, it still might fall like maybe 5, 6.
Yeah.
Because there were still other ones that we
came
witnessed
way before
or
this,
we saw or we heard about before we was even born that was major and played a huge role. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's hip-hop culture, and it always comes back down to hip-hop, and this is rap. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel towards that.
Dang, I'm so sad to wrap this up, y'all, but we have come to an end.
Oh, I have to say one thing. Mm-hmm. Make sure that all y'all are registered to vote, and y'all vote, man.
Amen.
Please vote. Like, it don't matter who it is, but just vote.
But I just want to thank you, Derrick, for coming here today. Like, I know you have a very, very, very busy schedule, but you took the time out to sit here and give all of us some gems today. So thank you. I'm so glad we finally got to do this.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all. This was dope. I'm excited. I think it was smooth. You feel me?
This was really good.
Yeah,
a lot of gems.
Thanks.
This is dope for sure.
Should write a book, bro.
No, for real. I'm glad people get to hear your story.
Facts.
For real.
Appreciate that, bro.
With that being said, y'all, that's another episode of the podcast. Last gem, travel. Cause this was not playing. He walked in the room the other day. We was like, oh shit, we gotta interview you. It be like that sometimes. You gotta. A lot of y'all be watching the podcast thinking we gonna get y'all like a fucking code or equation of success, bro. And when we tell y'all travel,
get out
genuine,
there, literally.
simple shit, y'all just look past it. But hey, I'm just telling y'all. But whatever being said,
a long way.
You know what I'm saying? We see y'all later, gang. It's the new PG. You feel me? But yeah.